So you've got an idea for a business. That's a huge leap, but it doesn't have to be a leap into the dark. We're going to break down the complex worlds of business law and marketing and turn them into a clear, actionable playbook that any founder can use. Let's get right into it.
We're kicking things off with this quote because, honestly, it just hits the nail on the head. A brilliant idea is one thing, but you have to build a real solid business around it. The stuff we're about to cover, it's not just good to know. It's your toolkit for survival and ultimately for success.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We're walking through 5 essential stages. We'll start with protecting that first spark of an idea and go all the way to creating a safety net for when things get tough. This is how you build your playbook.
First up, that big idea of yours. Right now, it's the most valuable thing you've got. But an idea all by itself is pretty vulnerable. So how do you take that spark of genius and turn it into a genuine, legally protected asset? Let's dig in.
The key concept here is intellectual property, or as you'll hear it, IP. The best way to think about it is like a legal deed to your ideas. It's the fence you build that stops other people from taking and using your unique inventions, your brand, or your creative work without your permission.
Now, IP isn't just one single thing. It's more like a toolkit. You've got to pick the right tool for the job. So if you've invented some new gadget, you're going to want a patent. That gives you a 20-year head start. If you've written the code for a killer app, that's where copyright comes in. And that awesome logo you sketched out, that's a trademark. See, it's all about matching the protection to your specific creation.
Okay, so you've put a lock on your idea. Great. Now, where is this idea going to live? The legal structure of your company, well, that's the foundation of the whole building. And it's one of the very first and most important decisions you're going to make.
So how in the world do you choose the right one? Well, it pretty much boils down to one single question. How much of your personal stuff, your own assets, are you willing to put on the line for your business? And this slide right here shows the classic trade-off. On one side, you have the sole proprietorship. It's super simple to set up, but, and this is a big but, there's no legal line between you and the business. If the business gets into debt, your house, your car, it could all be at risk. On the other side, a corporation builds a kind of legal wall. It shields your personal assets, and your risk is capped at whatever you've invested in the company.
But here's the good news. You don't really have to choose between total risk and total complexity anymore. Enter the limited liability company, or the LLC. This thing is a game changer. It's a hybrid that gives you the liability shield of a corporation, but with the simpler tax benefits of a partnership. Honestly, for most startups today, this is the way to go.
All right, with that strong legal foundation in place, it's time to get to the lifeblood of any new business, customers. But here's the thing, connecting with people today means you have to completely rethink what marketing even is.
For decades, marketing was pretty straightforward. It was all about the 4 Ps. The company controlled everything. They made the product, they set the price, they chose the place to sell it, and then they blasted out promotion. It was basically a one-way conversation. Yeah, you can go ahead and throw that old rule book right out the window. Today, marketing is all about the 4 Cs, and this isn't just swapping out some letters, it's about a massive power shift. The customer isn't a target anymore, they're in the driver's seat.
Let's quickly break this down. Product is now co-created. Your customers want to have a say in what you're making. Promotion gets replaced by communities. It's about having a dialogue, not shouting a monologue. That rigid price, it's now about customizable options. And you don't pick the place anymore. The customer has the choice. This changes everything.
So, getting this new mindset is absolutely crucial. But how do you actually go out and find those first customers? Well, you have to stop guessing and start knowing. And the only way to do that is with good old-fashioned research.
Hey, don't let the term marketing research scare you off. It sounds way more complicated than it is. Really, it's just the simple process of listening to the people you hope will be your customers. It's how you figure out who they are, what they actually want, and why they decide to buy something.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need a giant budget to do this. You can get really creative with some guerrilla marketing. Or you can learn a ton just through simple customer observation. Just watch people. Use tools like SurveyMonkey for cheap online surveys to get fast data, and put together a couple of focus groups to have some real, honest conversations about your idea.
Okay, so you've protected your idea, you've built your company, and you're finding your customers. Awesome. But smart entrepreneurs, they also plan for the worst. So let's talk about your financial safety net. What happens if things really go wrong?
First things first, let's just demystify the word bankruptcy. It sounds like the absolute end, right? But it's better to think of it as a legal tool. It's a structured process designed for one very specific situation, when what you owe is more than what you have. It's a way to find a path forward.
For a business in crisis, there are basically two main roads. Chapter 7 is liquidation. That's it. The business closes its doors for good, and a trustee sells everything off to pay the debts. But then there's Chapter 11. This one's a big deal. It's about reorganization. It gives you a chance to keep the lights on, restructure your debt, and fight for a comeback. It is the difference between shutting down and getting a second chance.
So, that's your playbook. Let's recap. It all starts with protecting your idea. Then, you build it on a strong legal foundation, probably an LLC. From there, you connect with your customers using the modern 4 C's, not some dusty old marketing rules. And the whole time, you've got a safety net in your back pocket because you understand your options in a crisis. It's a full strategy from that first spark all the way to scale.
So, we've laid out the map for you, covering the essential plays for any entrepreneurial journey. You know the way forward, from protecting your idea to planning for the unexpected. Really, the only question left is, are you ready to take that first step?